Hi guys, the Yak is back. I've been debating whether or not to do this video for a long time, because as you can probably guess, it's going to be very different. Now, for those of you who want to see more music-related things on my channel, I will be coming out with a viola cover of a Legend of Zelda tune, so don't unsubscribe just yet. Today I'm going to be diving into the science, medicine, and psychology of Breath of the Wild. Specifically, Link's amnesia. Is there a specific condition that lines up with Link's type of memory loss? Are pre- and post-Shrine of Resurrection Link two different people? And what gives you your personality? Can it be changed or taken away from you? Those are all questions we are going to answer. I am very excited and I love doing this type of stuff, so if you enjoy it too, hit that like button. Now on with the video. Link, Link, open your eyes. Bad voice acting making fun of Princess Zelda aside, Link is woken up from a 100-year-long power nap by the disembodied voice of a 17-year-old girl. Now, if I had woken up in a solid navy room with glowy things on the wall and the voice of a teenage girl in the back of my mind telling me to pick up an iPhone with an eyeball on it, I would have laid right back down and gone to sleep, hoping to wake up a few minutes later in a hospital bed to hear the doctor tell me my surgery was a success. Link, however, didn't do that. Probably because he didn't think any of this was out of the ordinary, because the Shrine of Resurrection had wiped his memory. The Shrine of Resurrection was made by the Sheikah, and there are a couple of interesting theories floating around that the Sheikah might have even intended for this process to remove Link's memories. But that's a different theory altogether. Main point is, Link don't remember nothing. This type of memory loss is called retrograde amnesia, specifically focal retrograde amnesia. Quote, amnesia is a type of memory loss that affects your ability to make, store, and retrieve memories. Retrograde amnesia affects memories that were formed before the onset of the amnesia. With retrograde amnesia, memory loss usually involves facts rather than skills. For example, someone might forget whether or not they own a car, what type it is, and when they bought it, but they will still know how to drive. Someone who develops retrograde amnesia after, say, a traumatic brain injury may be unable to remember what happened in the years or even decades prior to that injury. End quote. Link has to be older than 17 because of the whole age limit thing on the Big Brain Mountain.
For only the wise are permitted a place upon the mountain.
And he doesn't look much older than 18, so he has to have forgotten 17 to 18 years of memories, hence the decades part of the quote above. Thus, the condition looks to be some extreme form of this type of amnesia. Specifically, quote, focal retrograde amnesia, also known as isolated or pure retrograde amnesia, is when someone only experiences retrograde amnesia with few or no symptoms of anti-retrograde amnesia. This means the ability to form new memories is left intact. This isolated memory loss doesn't affect a person's intelligence or ability to learn new skills, like playing the piano. While I was prepping for this video, I found research that has been done to show that some memory loss is due to simply being unable to access or retrieve the memories. They're still back there, but they can't be remembered because something has gone wrong in the brain and they can't be accessed. Only when introduced to a trigger will the memories be recalled. This was achieved in mice. These little mousy dudes were injected with a chemical that made it so they couldn't retrieve their memories. Then the scientists introduced them to a trigger, and they remembered. In this case, they responded by running around in fear because what they had suddenly remembered was that the scientists had shocked them with electricity in this cage before. Poor little mice. So I think something similar happened in Link. After all, he's able to recall his memories, so they're obviously not all gone, just inaccessible. Inaccessible. Sounds kind of deliberate, right? Almost like the Sheikah intended for Link to lose his memories when placed in the Shrine of Resurrection? But like I said, that's a different theory. Okay, so what did Link's focal retrograde amnesia do to him, besides sweeping his memories into the garbage? Well, I believe the loss of all his memories transformed Link into an entirely different person. We can actually see in-game evidence of this. Now here I want to make sure we're on the same page and say that I'm considering everything you can do in the game, dialogue options, places you go, are well within Link's personality to do so. Like, in between these two dialogue options, neither one is something Link would not say. Or, to remove the double negative, both dialogue options are something Link's person would say. This may seem like common sense, but it's a distinction we need to make. Some people would argue that, depending on who was the one behind the switch, Link's personality would differ slightly, because you were the one making the decisions. I say no. Yes, but no. I would argue that, going back to the dialogue options example, both responses are well within Link's personality to say. It just depended on what kind of a day he was having, if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed, if he just ate his favorite food, if it was raining, if he had listened to way too much British narrated audiobooks. Okay, you get the picture. The person behind the switch is the master of fate, determining these things. Okay, with that out of the way, back to the in-game evidence. First off, the kneeling. Every single time Link sees the King of Hyrule, boop, down he goes. So respectful. This was a loyal knight who knew his place, polite and modest. Fast forward to after the Shrine of Resurrection, and Link sees that the old man is the King of Hyrule and doesn't move. Just stares at him. Doesn't sound like Link to me. You know what also doesn't sound like pre-Shrine of Resurrection Link to me? Bowling people over. If you run straight into people, there's a falling over / being pushed aside animation. Now, why would that be there if Link would never run into people?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just...
Pretty please check out Commonwealth Realms video, Link is Not Link in Breath of the Wild. It was totally eye-opening for me and actually gave me the entire idea about Link's two personalities in this video. He expounds more on it and makes lots of great points. He will probably be able to convince you better than I can, so please check it out. The link is in the description, but head right back here once you're done so you don't miss out on the rest of this awesome video. Also, speaking of running, Link can literally tear across the plains of Hyrule in his boxers. And if you talk to people decked out in simply your Fruit of the Loom, some will protest, showing that Nintendo actually intended for you to do this. Showing that post-Shrine of Resurrection Link would actually do this. Link repeatedly responds to people in a humorous and nonchalant or overly grandiose fashion with sentences like, "What you looking at? Hard work, huh? Nonsense. And I refuse." And repeatedly answering, "Why? Why? Why?" to everything the NPC responds with. He's suggested mind powers as a signal when Yunobo asked for one. And these are probably my favorite dialogue options. Seriously? Seal the deal? See you later? Link is going to be a great dad. Contrast this with pre-Shrine of Resurrection Link. But yak, you might say, we don't hear Link say anything in the cutscenes. That is half the evidence. He's wise enough to keep his mouth shut, opening it only when he really needs to. We actually have secondhand evidence of what he does say on those rare occasions. Zelda's diary said, "When I finally got around to asking him why he's so quiet all the time, I could tell it was difficult for him to say. But he did. With so much at stake and so many eyes upon him, he feels it necessary to stay strong and to silently bear any burden. A feeling I know all too well. For him, it has caused him to stop outwardly expressing his thoughts and feelings. I wish to talk with him more and to see what lies beneath those calm waters, to hear him speak freely and openly." I could tell it was difficult for him to say, but he did. Link respectfully formed and thought out his sentences before saying them, and responded to the princess even though he might not have wanted to. I wish to talk with him more and to see what lies beneath those calm waters. The Princess of Hyrule enjoyed talking to him and described him as a calm, peaceful body of water. Sound any different than the Link I described to you before? And in the memory to Mount Lanayru, Zelda says,
Be sure to take the time to soothe your mount. That's the only way it will know how you truly feel.
I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but she sounds like she's repeating, close to verbatim, what Link said to her. There's even quote marks around what she's saying, even though there never is any other time. Be sure to take the time to soothe your mount. That's the only way it will know how you truly feel. To me, this is all very clear evidence that Link's personality is significantly changed due to the loss of his memories. Creating a champion even confirms it to a degree. Quote, Link's memory loss and change in personality. Link was pretty much emotionless as the Chosen Knight 100 years ago, but he awakes to a time where he is relatively unknown. Only a few people who were around then are still alive. Freed from the attention and expectations of the people, and without any memory of the past, this era's Link is more expressive and lighthearted than the stoic knight he was before. End quote. They straight up confirm that sans memoire, Link's personality changes. Okay, so, is this drastic personality change due to a loss of memories actually possible in real life? And which personality is Link's real personality? Is it possible to get back the old Link that Zelda enjoyed talking to? Hold your horses, we'll get to all those. I'm talking to myself, aren't I?
Several bad puns later.
Well, I did way too much research, and it turns out that research on memory and personality is inconclusive and, frankly, all over the place. But I will try to give you the gist. As to the question of, is it possible? Too few people have experienced a complete memory wipe to know. However, everyone agrees that your personality is a mixture of nature and nurture, or in this case, nature and memories. What people disagree on is if one affects more than the other. However, it's not that relevant to our discussion of Link, because all we need to know is that personality is a mixture of both your nature and your nurture, or memories. When Link walked out of that cave, Shrine of Resurrection, if I had a dime for every time I've said that now, he had no memories, only nature. Now, to the question of which is Link's real personality, I'm not sure either one is his correct personality. They're both Link. There are indisputable facts about his personality. Remember the nature aspect that both of them have. They're both loyal and brave, like Zelda says.
But courage need not be remembered, for it is never forgotten.
Honestly, his state before the Shrine of Resurrection probably wasn't healthy. Sure, he was more respectful and obedient and polite and less crazy, but he couldn't talk. He couldn't speak openly and freely. Since when is suppressing your emotions healthy? But now he's back at square one. And yeah, he's a bit insolent, but I believe that we can get a bit of pre-Shrine of Resurrection Link back. At least the healthy parts. This will be a great opportunity to balance his personality now that, like Creating a Champion said, no one knows who he is, and he's forgotten most of his memories. But he can get them back. He can remember the reasons why he was calm and polite. Maybe his dad was a great role model, and remembering his dad would probably bring back those tendencies. I believe that with time and effort, Link and Zelda can bring Link and his memories back to a healthy place. The Link Zelda enjoyed talking to and wanted to know more about. The Link who makes jokes and isn't afraid to have a good time. A mixture of both his personalities. I can't believe I just talked for a solid 10 minutes theorizing about the psychology of a fictional character. Wake up. Wake up. What are you doing with your life?